But yesterday we had a deck tech for a Magus of the Candelabra Unbound Flourishing um, build that's really built around Unbound Flourishing, copying the X value of Magus of the Candelabra, Kozilek's command, and in that list, Portent of Calamity. Um, I think that the Unbound Flourishing Portent stuff is pretty nonsense, not going to be something that I want to play in any of these tournaments coming up. But I did end up taking a closer look at Magus of the Candelabra because of that deck tech, and also played a little bit of Candelabra in Legacy recently, and this card is actually pretty good. This card is actually pretty good. It's a 1 mana 1/2, 2 toughness, huge to dodge Bowmasters. Also blocks Ocelot Pride on turn 1, and for X mana you can untap X target lands, and in Modern now we have a lot of lands that just tap for 2 mana. Ugin's Labyrinth, Eldrazi Temple, Utopia Sprawl, and I'm also playing Overgrowth here. Overgrowth is like not only good with Magus of the Candelabra, but just actually kind of good to cast on turn 2. It even like if you go like turn 1, Forest, Utopia Sprawl, Eldrazi Temple, Overgrowth, you could just cast a turn 3 7-drop pretty smoothly. So I feel like it like fits pretty well onto your mana curve here. And it goes really crazy with Magus of the Candelabra. So I will say this. I actually started with a Devotion build of this deck where I was playing Nykthos, I was playing Leyline Scion, I was playing Sire of Seven Deaths as like my top end. Sire is just like so nuts. It's also kind of perfect for this deck where like typically these like green ramp decks kind of struggle on board. It's really easy to just fall too far behind on board. Sire just like you're just immediately stabilized. It stabilizes so hard, which is really really important for this deck. But I ended up like just not liking having all these ley lines. The deck is just like so high variance. And then I wanted to play Arbor Elf. Also ended up feeling like Arbor Elf was just like too many ramp cards. But ended up getting here, and the deck has been pretty good so far. So I will say that as far as like testing for the Modern Championship this Saturday, I kind of have it narrowed down to like 3 decks. And then I hammered out this list, and this list has actually been very promising. It's doing a lot of things that I want to be doing in the Modern format right now. It is something that I like, that it's a Karn deck. I think Karn decks are very good at the moment. I think Sire of the Seven Deaths is very good. I think having access to a lot of this land destruction is great. Being able to Ancient Stirrings for Kozilek's command to just dig deeper for this card I think is nice in these Eldrazi builds. You don't always get to do this, but having access to this card more often is really really critical. But it's like a really fast Karn deck is just something I really want to be doing. So, keeping this. I meant to sprawl on Ugin's Labyrinth Temple to untap it. I see. I mean, I guess you could do that, sure. But the thing is, like, you can still just untap both lands, right? It would come at the cost of 1 less mana, but you still get to untap both lands with your Magus. So I don't think it's that important in this Blood Moon format, you know what I mean? Like, the more basics, the better. Alright, I really hope to not play against Dimir. We played against Dimir 3 times in a row. Doesn't seem to be a particularly good matchup. There's a Verdant Catacombs. Delighted Halfling. Could be that rock deck that was pretty popular. I feel like I haven't seen people play that one recently. Now, I won't be able to kick Mycospawn next turn unless I draw a colorless land. But I could go Mycospawn into Get Temple into K Command. Blood Moon is on such a downswing right now. IDKY. Yeah, I mean, I think it's incorrect, but yeah, I have noticed a lot of Boros players are kind of skimping. So probably just normal Yawgmoth instead of that rock deck. Okay, confirmed. So them tapping like this, with them using the Wall of Roots mana here, means that they have a Chord of Calling for 1 available, and it's something that they're interested in doing also. This is tapping for 4. So I think I Stirrings, and if I find Temple, I do want to kick the Mycospawn and save the K command. I found Labyrinth or Karn. Both are kind of interesting. So I could go take Labyrinth, play Worldbreaker, kick Mycospawn, exile the Overgrown Tomb. And the next turn, And then they chord for 1, and then maybe it's Delighted Halfling. Because I do want to be able to K-command Yawgmoth next turn. That seems like something I really want to do. Yeah, I guess it could also mean Bowmaster. I think I'm happy if it's Bowmaster, because then I get to kind of develop this like anti-mana. Because then I get to like maybe K-command a Mana Dork. So I'm going to go for this option. I'm not sure that it's correct, of course. Boros players are down on Moon because the deck is cannibalizing itself with the mirror. That is an excellent way to articulate that. Would playing Vista one ways be worth? No, you cannot play any less forests than we are playing. Have I tried the Say's Name package in any builds recently? I haven't. I do think it's an interesting package still. But I have not included it in any decks lately. So no Court of Calling. So this Wall of Roots counter seems to have gone to waste. Maybe they're stress testing the Wall of Roots bug. There's a Cauldron to go with the Wall of Roots. Maybe I can big K command and dig for Karn. Two cards in their hand. I have an Emergence deck with the Say Its Name package. I don't think Squirming Emergence is super playable. I don't think Squirming Emergence is super playable. They're just like, it's just like, if you want to Omniscience, like it's way easier to just be in on Woodland, and you could be like, I'm going to play Squirming Emergence as redundancy to shifting Woodland. But instead of doing that, you could just play Traverse and Traverse for Woodland, and it's just better for the most part. So yeah, I don't know. I would need to be kind of sold on it, I guess. Are we going to World Break the Cauldron? I think I want to K-command X equals 7 and maybe try to find... I could find another World Breaker maybe, or I could find a Karn. Don't find any of that, but I do find some juice. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stack the deck like this. It's a little weird. I'm probably gonna restack it a little bit with the K command. Oh, in standard. Maybe later. Is there Ox's pass dropping today? It should. I don't know when. I was told it would be today. I even was under the impression that the oh, they're main decking Fatal Push. Interesting. I was under the impression that like the information like would be posted on the Magic On homepage earlier this week, so I don't really know what's going on, unfortunately. Okay, so if I exile this Delighted Halfling, my opponent is not going to have enough mana to cast a Yawgmoth next turn. So if I scry draw, then I can go grab a Mycospawn and I don't know if I want to. Maybe I just want to bottom the Sire. No, I guess I'll just keep the Sire. Yeah, go exile the Halfling, scry draw the Sire. The next turn I draw Mycospawn, and then I can go kick Mycospawn into Sire, kind of continuing in this like mana denial plan, and put the Sire in play, which will put a lot of pressure on them. So this is Tin MPT. Thank you. Sorry. I'm binging your Rakdos Delirium list to a team event. Have I played it since your YouTube video dropped? Any thoughts or changes? We were like 13-2 for a little bit. We did some changes. I do think Dreadhorde Arcanist is better than Amped Raptor. I think it's weird that seems to be the case, but that does seem to be the case. Beyond that, yeah, I don't know. I haven't thought a ton about the deck. I don't exactly like love it at the moment. I don't know if I would recommend it as like the #1 deck, but it might be a little bit underrated. It just kind of simply doesn't have a favorable Boros matchup, and it's very difficult to be like, I'm going to take any deck to a modern event that doesn't have a favorable Boros matchup. Can Yogg ever beat Sire? I mean, they can just combo. I guess I can actually just World Breaker this turn, and then next turn play the Sire. But like World Breaker on this Cauldron is just like, it's pretty nuts. How will Boros be after the ban list? Do you have the ban list available? That I can see what they're gonna ban, and then I can tell you. I don't know. Anybody who like really confidently answers these like prediction questions. I don't know if anybody is, but like we we don't know. There's no answer besides we don't know. Wait, can they go for 4? Okay, only for 3. Yes, there's a scheduled BNR December 16th. What about the green-white birthing ritual deck? Okay, this was not the move. Yeah, okay, and then they realize they just attack it. Okay. Yeah, the green-white birthing ritual deck. I tested the Boros matchup, and it is bad for green-white, unfortunately. That was not the dynamic before Boros started to main deck all the bombardments and the rings. I think it was pretty good for green white, but now the matchup is just it's bad for green white. Which it's worse than I even expected it to be. Honestly, it's worse than I expected it to be. Bombardment specifically is just just kind of unbeatable, and I don't know. It's kind of disappointing because that green-white deck is really sick, and I think it's good against a lot of stuff, but Boros is not one of them. It's going to draw against Yawgmoth. This hand is pretty okay if we find a double land off of a Stirrings. I think I'm supposed to mulligan on the draw against Yawgmoth. Okay, let's keep this one. Put back third Temple. Every matchup is bad for green white, but no way since Viatan devoted Druid days. I actually think green white is like kind of good against everything besides Boros. I think it's good against Dimir. I think it's good against Tron. I think it's good against Eldrazi. I think it's good against Belcher. But I don't think it just isn't good against. Okay, they did tap it away that the Mire won't let them cast this Wall of Roots that they put into their hand this turn. So unfortunately, we can't play the Temple. Yeah, we're not gonna be able to Micro Spawn this turn. Is it not worth it to splash red in this deck for Kozilek's return? Is Sire that good at blocking? Yeah, Sire's very good at blocking. We're also playing Magus of the Candelabra in our deck, so it's not exactly a great card to pair with Kozilek's return. But yeah, Sire is awesome at blocking. Yes. So kind of interesting spot where we get to Sire spelling Micro Spawn the Mire. Or sorry, we're 1 mana short of Carning for a Needle. What was the swap to make room for Magus? There wasn't like a swap from any existing list. This build came together from Mono Green Devotion, so it's like I'm not really thinking of it as like like just a swap from like the Mono Green Stompy deck. Although I do agree that it kind of looks like that, right? Thanksgiving swing, yeah, thank you, Full Wagon. Although actually no stream tomorrow. So if I block here, my opponent will sack one of these two to kill the Myco Spawn. I think I'd rather have the Myco Spawn be able to block for the Karn next turn. Yeah, just gonna go Karn, Needle, Surveil for Hedge Maze. I'm not going to the Laughing Dragon tournament in Houston. It's like 4 hours away from me. Alright, Yawgmoth, Thran position. More realistically, like 5 hours with stops and stuff. Yeah, you don't need to ban them. I made the bad dragon joke yesterday. Mercy, 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 mercy. One nice thing here is they can't haywire might my needle because I have a Karn in play. It does seem like they're setting up for a chord. It's always pretty telegraphed with these like Wall of Roots lines. They rumble. They do mill over a chord, but they can't put that into your hand with rumble, so they can pick a woodland or a fetch land. They do choose a fetch land, which they play. Maybe a little choked on black mana. Although I guess they could have halflinged for Grist, which is kind of the only black card that they might be interested in playing here. So I have 6 mana here. So if I draw a land, I'm not gonna be able to just grab Cityscape Leveler. They do take the Sire, which it seems to be the correct choice, especially if they can Court of Calling for Bowmaster. Last God, get this up to Halloween. Thank you so much. I do think to some extent, like Yawgmoth falling off in popularity, not to start the discourse, is part of like Ring rising to prominence. I mean, it's also that like Ring got a lot better post Image 3, but like Yawgmoth is a deck that's very good to Ring, like, very very good against Ring. Like they main deck Halfling, they main deck Bowmaster, and it's hard to tap out for it. I kind of want to Metamorph Yawgmoth. I know it's needled, but like if they kill the needle, then I can like kill. I guess I can only kill one thing. So I guess I'll explosives on 2. Metamorph Ring? That doesn't really make any sense, right? Not this turn. Oh, Metamorph Needle. That makes more sense. Stonebrain Quarter. They just quartered in response. I think you've just time walked yourself. Yeah. So at my trophy match with Goryo's last night, my opponent Stonebrained my Goryo's, but I just totally won the match because of it, because I just had a Kiora in my hand and like they just time walked themselves, and I just Kiora with a Force of Negation up, and it was so over. So they're courting for 2 in response to explosives on 2. They grab Haywire Might. So I think before my opponent can Bowmaster me, I'm going to exile the Might and then Scrydraw. Keep those Ancient Stirrings. Why aren't we seeing Wrath the Skies anymore? Just not good against the 2 big decks, Belcher and Energy. Well, Wrath the Skies is good against Energy. I like the Jeskai players to some extent. They kind of feel like the Goryo players. They're just like all over the place. They're like, I'm gonna play 3 Leyline Bindings, despite Leyline Binding being insane in the format and super important against Boros. I'm only gonna play 3, and I'm not gonna play Wrath the Skies because the Boros matchup is bad now. The Wrath the Skies is still like very good against them. I just don't really understand a lot of the decisions, and maybe they'll come back one day, and maybe they won't. When you played Legacy the other day, did I get a chance to K Command for like 8 on turn 1 or 2 too? Yeah, K Command was awesome in Legacy. Very, very good. Probably okay to sit on the K Command for a little bit. Since next turn I have Microspawn. I don't think I feel like the need to K Command for 1 right now. If they play a Tommy, I'll probably exile and Scry Draw. Or try to. I can exile that, Scry Draw. Probably not creativity if they have basic mountain. I don't really know what this Fable is doing. I guess it could be creativity. I played a lot of Wrath, Leyline Binding. The Boros matchup was still rough. I mean, I agree that it's still rough because like the new formula is very good against you. I also think that it would be better if you still played Wrath. It's sometimes when like we have these conversations or like a decks, it's like I a lot of times like I arrive at the same conclusion and then the deck builders just go completely different, or like we have the same thought and then they just go, okay, so we're not going to play Wrath. But the problem isn't Wrath, it's like Wrath still helps, you know. I don't know. Maybe Haste Cure here. No, not this time. All right, do you want to? It's game one. We'll play the one with the cast trigger. Go after this Arena of Glory. I think Jeskai was also kind of weak to Frog. Yeah, I think so too. I don't think Jeskai was like super good. I think it had some game, and you know, I think we'll see some Jeskai again at some point. I was farming energy even when Ring was when I was on Wrath and Binding. I mean, I was also kind of I was talking to Dingo about this yesterday, and this is partially why I wanted to test with Dingo off stream. Is that playing against a lot of energy players right now is it's just not very good testing. A lot of the energy players, especially on Magic Online, are just kind of asleep at the wheel. They forget Gigantha all the time. They make weird sequencing decisions. They don't play around sweepers. So, like, playtesting against Dingo, I feel like I've been getting a better understanding, and also playtesting against myself. I've been getting a better understanding of, like, what my energy matchup is like for these decks than just playing against it on stream. And so, unfortunately, this conclusion has come to, like, me thinking energy is a lot better than I have even been thinking previously. Despite like kind of knowing this, but like actually like confirming it and testing has been not a great feeling. What do you think about the Birthing Ritual deck? I like the Birthing Ritual deck a lot. It's not favored against Boros. I don't think that there's a really good way to make it favorable. Like if you have some game against it, you can win against it, but they're favored in the matchup. Why no Cavern even one? We put one in the sideboard, but we the reason for no Cavern was that we are a Utopia Sprawl deck, and you have to play a lot of forests. What's favorite versus energy? Goryo, Belcher, Storm. Yeah, I think Goryo's Titan, Storm, Belcher are probably the only four. Yeah. Maybe they're not asleep at the wheel, but they are like doing something else. Yeah, the Shape of New list was pretty fun. Kind of hoping to work on that one some more. Yeah, so let's check for Flare. I think I'd rather play the Sire instead of the Ring here, because this is at least good against Flare, against Force of Negation. And then maybe I get to double spell. Okay, Sire resolving should be pretty good for me. What's your Modern Madness event I see in the events room? Okay, good that that's here. So this is content, Aspiring Spikes Modern Madness. Cool, what's up? So we probably need to make a command for this. Again, today's stream is going to be a little weird in general. But this Sunday, I'm hosting a modern tournament on Magic Online. It's part of like their November content creator event. My week was the last week. This is a entry. I also was told wrong, or sorry, misunderstood. But you do have to pay to entry. It's 40 tickets or 400 play points. And there's also an all access token that should be available now. Maybe it would be available if I restarted Magic Online. But you can buy the all access token and test for the event. Okay, they're Flame of Anor to deal 5 to this. This has 7 toughness. So if they target this again, it just gets countered. Okay, well, I think they're just trying to concede, but they can't actually pay life that they don't have. All access token can be new at Central Time. So yeah, so you can buy an all access token, and you can help playtest for the event, or playtest for the event. Yeah, I think I just want to cut a lab for the Cavern. When are we putting Cure and Heartless Acerak? Any day. There's also Modern Trophy Race event for the next 48 hours. Oh, I didn't know that was part of it. Is the pricing for your event similar to Challenge? So I didn't have any feedback on what the pricing was. I you know, asked for as like higher than average. I guess we can see, but they didn't tell me what the pricing was going to be. I also asked for if you buy the all access token, it would give you entry, but it seems like they didn't go with that. But let's see what the prizes are. Okay, so first place, 1,000 play points, 200 treasure chests, Modern Horizons set, 2 foil sets. Oh, sorry, Modern Horizons 2 foil set, and then also MH3 set. So like lots of foil sets and prizes. So much better than a challenge. Really high prizes. I think they did a good job with this. There's also going to be Jade Avenger avatars. I posted this online yesterday, but they're going to have. Let me pull it up. There's going to be Jade Avenger avatars for top 32 and for top 8. A green one for top 32 and a gold one for top 8. And I don't get one like just naturally. I would need to get one by winning or by doing well enough in this event. So this is the one for top 8, gold Jade Avenger with the neon sign in the side and the green one. These will be on Magic Online and you can win one, which I think will be pretty sick. However, like the green version versus Tron Sire. I like Tron more than like the regular green, but I think this build is showing a lot of promise. And to some extent, like this build is like so much faster than the Trinisphere build, the Trinisphere 6 build, that I'm starting to feel very optimistic about this one. Yeah, I'll be live. I'll be streaming my matches. I think I'll be doing it. I think with no hand hider either. You winning my own event is silly. I want to at least get the green one, and I'll use it forever, but I want to at least get the green one. Will I be using Capricious Hellraiser with Kiora Arena of Glory so far since Foundations? I haven't thought about it with Kiora. I have been thinking about Hellraiser some, yeah. Kiora just seemed like a pretty nice direction to go. Alright, I think I just want to be playing a big threat every turn. It's your event. I think you should get them regardless. I don't want to get one. I want to I want to earn it. They might like offer it to me. I don't want it. I want to earn it. And I think it would also be very funny if I just like if I just don't get one of my own tokens. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of fun if I don't. Yeah, I think I want to grab this Myco spawn. And then I think I want to play Karn so that I can kick the Myco spawn next turn and get a Cavern, hopefully. Yeah, like I definitely could ask to just get one. I don't want to do that. It's way more fun. It's way more fun if I have to earn it or if I don't earn it. Okay. They just drew 2 in response. They didn't find a Force of Negation. And think of these spots, you just grab a ring. Haven't looked at the list in a while, so I forgot what they look like. Also, I'm hyped. Yeah, I'm excited too. What is the big use of Orm's Chant in current meta? I don't know if there's a big use. There's like a Scepter Chant deck or two that's like kind of fringe, but not completely unviable. Okay, so I don't have a Wastes in the deck. Can still cast everything in my hand. My Magus is worse now. Thank you, sweetie. Okay, I think I'm going to grab a Cityscape Leveler here. Yeah, a good Ballista. I think I'm okay just like trying to kind of like try to draw land and then World Breaker next turn. An Arena of Glory Ilharg deck. I've thought about it. I don't know. It could be better than I think, especially like because you probably get access to Ugin's Lab too. I think my opponent's trying to Arena of Glory something here. Yeah, there's also the mini trophy race starting at noon. It's tough because I have a doctor's appointment at noon and that I can't miss. So I don't know if I'll be able to do my own trophy race. We'll play some of it, I'm sure. It kind of depends on how long the appointment goes, but it is possible I come back later today after that's happened, so that I can, if it's just like really short, I might just come back and trophy race a little bit and do some more testing. Yeah, 2 cards in their hand. There's a shaman token. Thunder trap training. Yeah, we couldn't because we have the Magus, we couldn't get rid of anything, and then there's a consign, unfortunately. Is there any way to like? Because I don't know if they're going to consign a Void Mirror here. I kind of want to get a Haywire Might and exile this. Yeah, I guess what I do is I cast a ring, I trade that for a consign or whatever, then I might the Fable. Getting to double spell here is pretty nice. Yeah, I thought about the Drew and Hazoret also with the Arena of Glory. Okay, 2-0. Snapkey. Last time you have to deck with FOMO, Kiora, with Magma Opus. Seems like a fun shout. For the Magma Opus for this theoretical Hellraiser. I don't know if have I ever played Magma Opus in Modern? I feel like that might have been more of a Pioneer thing. I wouldn't be like too shocked to learn I've played it in Modern, I guess. But I don't really remember ever doing that. Let's see, 5 days ago on Rakdos midrange, huh? 5-0 to League with... Oh, Hollow One. Got clickbaited. Yeah, one of my like favorite features of Moxfield. One of my favorite features of Moxfield is the ability to like just go back and look at every deck you've ever played. So no imprintable. Yeah, I guess I put it on the lab so I can tap the lab for green and then put like I cast the sprawl for free. Okay. You can you can actually just search anything you've ever played or anything I've ever played. And so I've just been deleting things from my actual memory and using Moxfield as my brain. Okay, so it looks like I did play it in the Geological Appraiser brew. I had it as a way to ramp into Geological Appraiser. That was this year, and then in 2002, we played it in a Pioneer Creativity Gear Hulk build. Feels like a good card that works in the deck naturally. I mean, I wouldn't say Magma Opus is a good card, but I would say it is a card. Like it's legal. All right, so there's 3, 4, 5. Probably gonna play patterns a bit here. I am down to 5. I'm 30, Salty Ninja. The Rakdos FOMO deck you were saying is bad into Boros. Is it mostly the ring? I mean, the ring is a big part of it, but like Flage too. I think I'm probably gonna not K-Command this turn. There's a Sire. Sire is super important here. 3, 4, 5, plus 3. So I have 8 mana next turn. I'm a bit scared about Bowmaster. lose to Bowmaster, I think I'll tap the ring. This is 7. Yeah, I think I want to Myco spawn into ring. I want to be able to potentially double sire or sire with K command up next turn. I'm going to be not tapping this ring. This way I could crack my fetch land and not be dead to a Tarfire. I don't usually play Bolt main deck. Do they have a 7th type? Yeah, they play enchantments. They play like 8 enchantments in the deck, actually. Can you tell us which decks you ruled out and why? Yeah, we could talk about that. Let me maybe get to a more stable position. Let's see. Look my 2-test file. Okay, so I ruled out Jund Delirium. I feel like this is a deck that has potential and is one that I do kind of like, but is also a deck that you certainly have to high roll with a lot, and it's a deck that I immediately have to think. So I think I want to make spawns, and I want to sorry. Maybe just exile their graveyard. I can go after Tarfire, Bauble. If I go after Tarfire, Bauble, I remove 3 of their 4 types. They potentially would have no Delirium, but I guess with Inquiry double Channeler, that seems pretty unrealistic. So let me just exile a Channeler and make spawns, and then exile another Channeler. Or maybe it's not better to hold the K command. I should probably exile the Nethergoyf, because if they go Detect with Phoenix on Nethergoyf, then I actually just can't block the Nethergoyf effectively. I don't really see much reason to draw a card either. Wait till after triggers? I guess we could wait till after triggers, sure. They're just gonna get graveyard anything though. Like I think they graveyard almost like literally any card, so I don't know if it matters much. There's a Detective's Phoenix, but we don't we know that card's in the deck, so we don't need to think too much about it. We do lose our second sire. Do we want their channelers to attack so we can block it? Well, we're leaving them with a channeler. Should surveil first to give them less info. I don't know. I like. Is there any card they ever keep on top here? Sorry, again, it's a bit too complicated to also be talking about. Okay, so I've ruled out Jund Delirium. I think it's a deck you have to high roll with a bit too much. I've ruled out Green-White, Birthing Ritual. I do think it has a lot of game in the broader format, but it just is not favored against Boros, and I'm not going to take a deck to the tournament that isn't Boros or isn't favored against Boros. I've rolled out the Eldrazi Underworld Breach deck. I think I would prefer to play Temur Breach if I was going to play Breach. I have not ruled out Brood Scale. I've not ruled out Kiora. I am close to ruling out the Eldrazi Tron deck. I tested the Boros matchup some more. It's like not awful, but it isn't exactly where I'd like it to be either. I have not ruled out Simic Omniscience yet. I've not ruled out Belcher. I've not ruled out Titan. I've not ruled out I think I've ruled out Storm. I played some more Storm, and boy, that deck just isn't that consistent. Yes, the Stony Silences from Energy are pretty scary too. Does the White Orchid Phantom deck have good matchup? Yeah, I think Phantom is good against Eldrazi, it's good against Belcher, it's good against Tron, and it's good against Dimir, which is a huge chunk of the metagame. I think it has a lot of game against Titan too. It has a lot of game against Storm, because you have the Ranger Captain loops in the game 1. You have a lot of game against Goryo's, because you're main decking all these Thraben Charms. I actually think the deck is just like pretty good at metagames, but it just isn't good against energy. Red Flare Kadotha. I mean, I'm not. That deck is not good enough to really even consider, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm not sure what their plan is here. They sure are cracking this fetch. I don't think Brute Scale is good versus Energy, maybe slightly unfavored. I think that the Scales build against Energy is very close. I think that that's kind of the reason why I've been playing this build. Is like Scales plus Ballista gives you like a much better plan. But I agree. I don't know that it's an actual favorable matchup, and I would need a little bit more testing, and I don't even like really. I'm probably barking up the wrong tree this late into the game. We gotta just tap the ring, I guess. Don't really know why they're casting this. I'm gonna be Rocking Fish, have sideboard dedicated for Boros. Is it possible to have? Wait, they targeted my sire? what did they? I know this card only has like 9 words on it. Can't be that hard to misread. Like, okay, tell me about your sideboard dedicated for Boros with Merfolk, because I agree that Merfolk like is probably pretty good against most of the non-Boros decks. But like, I think you could probably sideboard 15 cards for Boros out of Merfolk and still be unfavored. Matt Nass and Andrew have both liked the matchup. I mean, there's a difference between like liking the matchup and it actually being mathematically favored against good players. You know what I mean? Because this is a very real phenomenon of Magic Online. The Boros players are asleep at the wheel. Your average Magic Online Boros player is just like punting nonstop. It's kind of ridiculous. And this is just a reality that you have to understand, is that the Boros players are just so asleep at the wheel. It's crazy. Yeah, like I might choose to play Energy at this tournament because I won't be so asleep at the wheel. I think the Fleshbreaker Breach deck is better than the old 6 Breach. I do think it's better than the 6 Breach deck. Yeah, although there was a little bit of new tech. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, there was new tech for that deck that I wanted to try. Maybe I'll remember if I. Chalice, Spreading Skis, Stern Scolding is sort of all I got. I mean, I don't love this whole Chalice plus Stern Scolding plan, right? Because those two cards smack against each other a little bit. I'm just going to cast Overgrowth here. Yeah, we talked about it on stream, the idea for that build. I can't remember what it was, though. Is Etron favored against Energy? I mean, if you go like you have good draws against them, but I think the matchup is pretty close. I was testing it kind of extensively yesterday, and the matchup is close. In my opinion. But you definitely do have a good like density of like plans against them. Okay, so 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'll just take a Sire and cast it next turn. Have I thought about any Boom Bust shells lately? I haven't been thinking about any. I don't hate the card Boom Bust though. The matchup versus Injury the Etron is like, did you draw 2 rings plus all his dust? Well, so Sire of 7 deaths plus so now you have 2 things. You kind of have a ring into all his dust, or you have Chalice plus Sire. Chalice plus Sire game 1 is incredibly tough for them to deal with. So like that kind of second plan has been pretty interesting for me. We got 1 card. We get to Worldbreaker the Blood Moon. Yeah, this build being pretty resilient to Blood Moon, I think, is pretty cool. Uh-oh. Stay with me! I'll pick all 4 modes, Kozilek's command. Thank you. They definitely should hold their crypt here. I think they're kind of giving up. Stay with me. They also, I think, could have bestowed a Detectives Phoenix here. Let's see, 1, 2. Yeah, they could have bestowed a Detectives Phoenix to not lose their Channeler. All right, well, we don't need to get too fancy here. All right. Okay. In fact, we played against Yawgmoth, which a lot of times is that matchup, but then their main deck they're main decking a Fatal Push, which is kind of funny. Magus seems kind of pointless to me, but definitely cool. I promise that it's been like really powerful and like testing and goldfishing, but thank you for the feedback. I'm going to play the Magus here. So your green-white birthing ritual on YouTube. Any updates to the deck since I last played it? No big ones. No big ones. The Arid Mace is kind of interesting here. So I didn't draw a land to untap the Sprawl land here. We are lucky enough to hit a untap green. They just Jeskai control? Bant Ritual is not that good about stability. I'm talking about green-white Ritual, not the Bant. The Bant build is kind of interesting, though. I mean, you have Solitude Ephemerate, you have Skyclave Ephemerate, the Eternal Witness Loop, so I feel like you have some plans, but I also agree, like, I haven't been having the most success with the deck. Why do we get the Stirrings first, actually? I think I will actually just Stirrings now to try to hit a land, then play Mycospawn. And I guess if I brick, I could just cast Overgrowth. I'm kind of flooded. So like taking a land here is a little weird. Magus flooded against Jeskai. Yeah, but let's actually just play Overgrowth and another Magus this turn. Boros has the highest meta share right now. No, it does. I don't know where what I said you feel like contradicts that or whatever. But yes, that is the case. They tap out for Verdict here. I'm pretty happy. And if these Magus live, they are worth a lot of mana, and we can filter into extra colorless mana with them potentially. I see Salty. Yeah, I was just confused what the point was. White-green Ritual is tough choice to sacrifice Soul Guide and Ocelot. So you're saying that the deck is better if you don't play those cards? Oh, we've queued into Wrath the Skies. Feels pretty unlucky to queue into Wrath the Skies, but at the very least, my Overgrowth is alive for now. And my Magus is still in action here. Am I gonna get one of your avatars? You gotta earn it. I also have to earn it. Thankfully their Tamio kind of did nothing. Okay, ring-a-ding-ding. Hopefully they don't have a Force of Negation, and we can try to find a Karn, though. Was not expecting the Jeskai control game to be the game where Magus really shines. I'm going to leave a green mana floating here. Don't think it's super likely I want to cast Mycospawn, but the difference between X equals 7 and X equals 8 is not that big anyways. Okay, so let me I'm going to keep the good cards. And I'm going to bottom the bad cards, not rocket science. And I think what I should do is I should... Oh, no. Okay, well, now I guess I World Breaker, but the plan was to... I just misclicked, but the plan was to Put ring on top, cast ring, draw Karn, and then the Karn is turning off the their ring. But I guess I could just World Breaker their ring. And this is better against Force of Negation for whatever that's worth. Can't you control? Can't you undo? I'm under the impression you cannot undo Scries and you can't undo Ponders. That was definitely the case on Magic Online for a long time. Dude, my opponents are so good at entombing Flage. It's just, this is like the third time this week. Do I think Soul Trader combo is reasonable? It is reasonable, but it's kind of tough to find the best build. I'm a little bit burned out on trying them. I got someone to name on Discord channel. This is not me. I'm not messaging any of you on Discord. I never would. I hate all of you. I'm just kidding. I love all of you. But it's a very common scam right now. People are impersonating streamers on Discord. This is happening to me. It's happening to a lot of people in the Magic community. As a general rule of thumb, though, if a streamer is cold DMing you, you're either getting scammed or you're getting groomed. You know, you could be being scammed by the streamer themselves and they're selling you some crypto, but there's just nothing good ever happens from cold DMs from streamers. So in general, I advise you to stay away from that stuff. And you know, as a rule of thumb. 4K Nolistos, I'm sure both happen. You know, it's a crazy world we live in. But you know, unless there's someone you've interacted with before, if there's someone that you know, it's just not likely to be a good encounter for you. Okay, I don't want to cast the Myco Spawn because I have this Karn I'd like to still find. So I want to go, I think, World Breaker into Ring this turn. I thought about Necro. I have nearly 80% win rate into Boros Online. Turns out removal, meat hook, life gain is all you need to beat energy. If you send your list, I'll take a look. I have been thinking about maybe Coffers a little bit more than Necro, because I think that like the Field of Ruin plus Karn stuff is good against like Belcher in the field at large. But maybe there is a good build of Necro against energy. I agree that energy is like a little bit forgotten about. You to hear Spike wants Discord shut down. I mean, no, but like, there's a lot of shady stuff that goes on in Discord. I think it is like one of the sketchier websites on the internet. Not the most, but I do feel like there's probably a lot of crime going on there that isn't talked about that often. Gonna bring in the cavern. Maybe that's every like big social media, every website, but you know, is what it is. Why World Breaker popular modern now? I think it's not good enough. Okay, Ugin's Labyrinth makes these cards that you wouldn't think is good enough good. Also, did you like watch that game? World Breaker was sick. World Breaker is surprisingly good. It lines up well against Ring. There's a lot of big. It's good with Labyrinth. It's good against Labyrinth. There's a lot going on, but I'm surprised that you watched that game and you're like, wow, World Breaker sucks. Would I play Coffers without Necro and Soul Spike? Yeah, I was looking at a build without the Necro Soul Spike stuff. Or, you know, yeah, thinking about it. I think I would like to. Oh, sorry. Wait. I tap this. I tap it for 2. Oh, duh. This is only +1 mana, not +2 mana like Arbor Elf. Okay. So just casting the Stirrings then. Grab a card. Will be worth extra mana next turn with the Temple. Jet with the 60 bonds. Thank you. Welcome back. Appreciate you. Have I tested Thief of Existence in these builds? I played some Thief of Existence. Like in this deck, I'm pretty comfortable having mostly a Karn board. But Thief of Existence I do think can serve some roles, sure. Magus of the Candelabra. So do I want to try to double spell here? I can't kick Myco Spawn and play something else, but I could cast Myco Spawn and play something else. I think I should probably just be going for this land destruction plan. Gonna get Cavernous Souls here. Have I faced energy with this version yet? Is Turbo Sire usually good enough since no all is just? Turbo Sire is very good. That is a big part of your plan, yeah. I have not played the matchup today, no. So they kill my temple. It's kind of okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can have 7 mana if I play Sire, but then I don't have. I can't cast the Sire. But I guess I'll play this, and then I can untap. Then my Magus taps for 2, which will allow me to play both Karn and Ring if I want to. So I think I play around Force of Negation by casting the Karn first, potentially. Ooh, what if I go Karn and then into Metamorph, and I Metamorph the Charmaw? If this line is bad, I don't, really care about making good lines anymore. Maybe I never did. And I can keep them off Wrath the Skies like this, maybe. Is Chalice good against energy? So Chalice plus Sire of 7 Deaths is really good against energy, where they just can't Static Prison it, they can't Galvanic Discharge it. And then it's kind of hard for them to maneuver around it. They kind of need like Bombardment plus a big board to beat it. So Chalice got a lot better against energy with Sire, and this is a big part of the idea behind the Eldrazi Tron deck. They do have another one. I don't have another Metamorph. Just all land destruction all the way down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana again. Let's see if they woke up with a Force of Negation. Not this time. Yeah, so I think I'm just going to grab a Cityscape Leveler and then play just a basic Forest and lose my Karn to this Charmaw. I think I want to play basic Forest, so if they have another Charmaw, they can't cast it unless they have land, which they didn't have last turn. Although here is a land. Bombardment plus board doesn't work. I mean that they would Bombardment plus board and just kill you, and not kill the Sire. But yeah, it is. If they can't kill you, then they can't kill the Sire. That's true. And if Sire has like gained you any life, it's tough for them. So yeah, again, it is a good plan. It is a good plan. Attack into the Charmaw and get Ballista. I don't know if that plan makes that much sense, but it's kind of interesting, I guess. So no K command. They did not kick the Orum's chance, so I guess I'll attack. Time walk me. Okay. Seems like their hand wasn't very good. Maybe it's a bit better now. Then they don't attack because their life total's too low, which is, great news. Spike, Magus of the I haven't watched any games, but Magus of the Candelabra seems kind of pointless. Maybe you had watched games, but I don't know. This is pretty sick, and the fact that it's a lot of times just a mana dork that ends up turning into this, I think, is pretty cool. So this is 11 mana, can have 13. The World Breaker does kind of answer the Charmaw pretty nicely. I think I want to keep attacking the white mana. Then go Karn coding. Oh, they didn't have second white for kicker, right? Was this deck that made me realize Arbor Elf Yavimaya is kind of neat? Was this consideration? Yeah, I considered Arbor Elf. It ended up just being too many 1-mana dorks, and like, so if you play like Arbor Elf and Magus and Overgrowth and so Overgrowth, Utopia Sprawl, Magus, Arbor Elf, it's just, and like 21 lands. It's just too many mana sources, I think. So I think you have to cut 4 of them, and I think Arbor Elves are the weak link there. For whatever that's worth. You know, I would not have expected for Magus to shine the most today, again, against against Jeskai control, but I am here for it. I think I'll probably just try. Yeah, I think I was just gonna cast Leveler there. Okay, after we have exited the Dimir Gauntlet, we are 4-0, 8-0, which is pretty exciting. Okay, I think I'm gonna keep this hand. If I can Stirrings into an Eldrazi Temple or a Ugin's Labyrinth specifically would be really, really good. I think I'm gonna try it. Deserted Temple with Lotus Field, right? So everyone keeps saying with Lotus Field, right? With Lotus Field, right? I'm not going to put Lotus Field in my Utopia Sprawl Overgrowth deck. This is more interesting to me. This is a bit more interesting to me to build the deck as a deck that has Labyrinth and has Overgrowth and has Utopia Sprawl and has a lot of different things that all work too well with this idea instead of just Lotus Field. So we do draw a land. It isn't one of the Eldrazi lands, but we will definitely take it. We need to draw another one though, or maybe an Ancient Stirrings. My opponent doesn't have the turn 2 Frog. Magus will look quite bad here if we don't draw a land. Sprawl works though. And now the Magus is crazy. It's plus 3 mana. Hopefully it lives. No! Graveyard Trespasser. Fuck. This I have no complaints or thoughts though. The fact that this opening hand after we bricked on the Stirrings ended up being turn 4 Worldbreaker plus Ring. After we bricked on our Stirrings, we ended up casting turn 4 Worldbreaker plus Ring. I will take it. Okay, let's bring in a Cavern of Souls. I'm gonna cut a Labyrinth and then click Submit. Trespasser is kind of okay against Energy. I think it's actually pretty good against Energy, which is why people play it. I like a lot of the tickets around Spell Pierce. So people just don't play Spell Pierce. They are playing a lot of Spell Snare. I've actually been playing 4 Spell Snares in a lot of decks. No 2-drops. Yeah, nice. So this is our 4th time playing against Dimir. We have won every single game won, but the Cyborg games have not been good. So continuing, I was kind of worried that we would lose a game 1. Okay, so Magus plus Temple does let us K-command a Frog on turn 2. Okay, opponent's at a Mold to 6. When I say bricked on Stirrings, I mean didn't find a land off Stirrings. We did put a Karn into our hand. Can we call Magus a proper mana dork if it's not a great turn 1 play? Well, the thing is, it does tap for a mana on turn 2 if you have Temple plus K command, if you have Labyrinth, or if you have Utopia Sprawl. It does generate a mana in all of these situations on turn 2, but it doesn't always, right? So like it is a little bit of a nebula, I guess. But here, like, it is going to make a mana for me this turn. If they tap out for a cantrip, I'll cast the K command. Otherwise, I do want to hold it up for a frog, potentially. Or maybe just not let them consign on my turn. Sabolo with the 2 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Appreciate you. Do I want Trinisphere? I don't think so. Let's take both of these. Playing Overgrowth here seems like a little bit of a... Maybe I should have Stirrings first. Not sure. I'm going to take this World Breaker, though. But I just want a K command again, I think. Just not let them use any mana this turn, potentially. Okay, risk of running into a Force of Negation. Uh-oh. Not the end of the world. Okay, they pitch a Sink into the Stupor. Just kind of seems to lose the spawns. And maybe also like trying to kill a creature would be good this turn. Never punish though. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5, 6. Yeah, so I want to be able to cast Stirrings if this does... Wow, it resolved. Don't sack spawns, just miss out on Scry 2. Well, Scry 2 is big, and they had to have a Force of Negation. To me, it seemed like really fine to just not play around Force in that spot. And if they do have Force, we're like how bad is it for us? It doesn't seem that bad. So in this spot, I'm going to be myco-spawning for a Cavern, but let me just like Stirrings again here. Let's grab another K command, I think. If they can sign this, we obviously don't really care. Yeah, we talked about Arbor Elf. The thing is, if you play Arbor Elf, it's too many just mana cards, so you have to cut something, and Arbor Elf is the weakest, I think. Looks like you're broken. I mean, I think this deck is good. Like me saying that this is part of playtesting for the championship is not clickbait. I'm genuinely considering this deck for the championship. They graveyard a Harbinger, so if they have Unearth, we could, get got here maybe. Yeah, K command is just actually insane. So this is good. This lets me put this Overgrowth on this forest before I tap this forest and keep the Cavern up. I'm like a little worried about like them floating a mana for Consign. Don't think there was a really good way for me to sequence around that. They are representing it. Yeah, let me know if I don't think there's a way for me to like cast both this turn without like letting them float mana, because I have to float mana too. Let me know if I missed something. I think we still have to cast it. It's like just gonna be not that hard for them to hold it up there. We have a lot of good top decks, although this is not one of them. You could have untapped the Cavern. Well, I mean, Cavern of Souls doesn't make Kozilek's command uncounterable. A Sire of Seven Deaths would be very hard for them to beat if we could ever draw one of those. Unfortunately, we only have one Stirrings left. I almost want to go after Swamp because of Harbinger, but keeping them off double blue is probably better. So grab a Hedge Maze. Maybe a fetch land is better. Probably a little too marginal to care too much about. Yeah, Beseiji would have been something, huh? Maybe they'll flip a frog up or something here. I'm kind of okay if I like block with World Breaker, they kill it with the frog. Okay, just a fatal push. They do find another land. Big draw step for me, I guess. So no more Surveil lands, but I will keep destroying their mana. And do you think going after the blue is still important? Am I right in saying you played against blue-black 4 or 5 matches this league? No, last league we played against it 3 times in a row, then we won 2, dropped it now. This is our first time playing against it this league. They flip up another Oculus here, which is pretty scary. We might not win this game. You know, if we ever draw Sire, we play uncounterable Sire. This game is very over. They are, you know, drawing lands. Another World Breaker would be incredibly good, but they're getting to a point where they can Alpha Strike or kill me over 2. Maybe 1 Mana Sink. It's just so tough to play a Mana Sink land in your Utopia Sprawl, Eldrazi Temple, Ugin's Labyrinth deck. It's very difficult. It will be good in some situations, of course, but I think it's not correct. Yeah, I'm like, they must have a frog at this point. But yeah, it's also like, you know, it's only ever in situations like this that chatters are like, Spike, what if we had a Mana Sink land? Like, of course, but like, you know, that I'm the one who has to like draw the card all the time. Okay, let's draw a Karn, a Sire of the 7 Deaths. I would take a World Breaker, I guess, but classic. You could cut a single fetch land for 1. No, you cannot. Y'all don't want to hear me. You just want to dance. You cannot play less forests in this deck, in your Utopia Sprawl deck. We have 13. Cannot go to 12. Should probably be playing 14. We're already kind of cheating a little bit. You cannot. Y'all don't want to hear me. You just want to dance. Okay, Thoughtseize. Am I dead? I might be dead. Okay, maybe next turn. What do you think of some Devour of Destiny over World Breaker? I like World Breaker more. We did get game 3 on the play. This game did seem pretty good at one point. Yavimaya doesn't help at all. The only thing Yavimaya does is it lets you Utopia Sprawl on Temple or Labyrinth, which I don't think is that important in this like Harbinger Blood Moon metagame. I guess they do only have 11 cards in their deck, but probably won't matter. They're gearing up for an attack. Yes. Okay. So block this 2/2, block this, block this. And this is 11 plus 10 for 19. So now this is 11 plus 8. Sorry. 11 plus 8. Yeah, sorry. That's 19. So it looks like we're dead. Yavimaya saves your life on fetches. Yeah, but a fetch land can get a Hedge Maze. Like, and also I'm saying I would not play a Yavimaya over a basic forest. You know what I mean? All right, game 3 on the play. Let's go. Not going to get the perfect 5-0 to know. Looked like we might have for a second there. All right, on the play. Mulligan. It's all falling apart. It's all falling apart. Do we go to 5? I think we go to 5. This hand, like even if we do draw a forest or an imprintable, this hand still isn't good. So I have to go to 5. This hand's good. Yeah, I think I just do this. And so if I draw an imprintable, I can turn 2 ring. Yeah, we did 5-0 yesterday. Kind of like a 2-for-1. Why Hedge Maze is Merfolk a thing? Well, you wouldn't want an island against Merfolk, but we have Hedge Maze because we have a Metamorph on the side, and we mostly just want to surveil land, right? Also explosives on Tomb. All right, so there's a frog. Do they have a Force of Negation here? I think there's basically no world where I decide to not cast the ring. It all comes down to this. Uh-oh. It resolved! It resolved. It resolved. I can't believe it. Let's fucking go. Okay. So I can go Mycospawn into Cavern for the Sire. Or I can just play Worldbreaker next turn. I think I'm taking Sire. Kind of close. Not over yet. Any thoughts on Stirrings first to bait the counter? Of course not. They're not going to force a negation Ancient Stirrings in this spot. So it's better to wait on the Stirrings to have better info on what to grab. Of course, they're not going to counter that. They discard a Harbinger. They discard an Oculus. They have double Unearth. I can beat double Unearth if I draw a land, and they don't have Consign for my Sire, I guess. This is scary. So first step is to draw a land in the next 3 draws, which we should be favored to do. Step 2 is for them to not have a Consign. My opponent is thinking about something, so could they have like a Nile spellbound? Like what could they possibly be thinking about? Yeah, I'm glad we got to play a real game 3 on our mold to 5. It's always the worst when you just mold to 5 and you die. We didn't find the land. Guess that's kind of obvious now. We can't double spell off with the Mycospawn. We could Karn and play a 2-drop. I can't kick the Mycospawn. I don't have Colorless because of the Harbinger. I feel like Karn Needle Frog seems kind of nice. Oh, they were F6'd. Oh my gosh. Okay, your turn. Was Magus even activated this league? Yeah, Magus was very good this league, I would say. No, dude. They didn't even draw their card off Frog first. Don't find the ring. Tough game. We did mold to 5. It looked like, both games in 2 might have gone our way, and they unfortunately did not. Demir, not a good matchup still. So close. Yeah, it does seem like if we had drawn a land in the top 3 in that spot, we would have won, probably. Although they did have the sink into the stupor, actually, so maybe not. Yeah, turn 2 Frog into double Unearth is pretty nuts. It is what it is. Okay, so I have a doctor's appointment in an hour and a half, so I think I'm going to end the stream for now. If the doctor's appointment ends up going really fast, I'd like to come back and maybe do some of the trophy race grinding as part of my my content creator season here. So this Sunday, I have my Modern Madness tournament hosted on Magic Online. It's 9 a.m. my time. Also, I said 9 a.m. PST. I got confused. I got confused from like Discord time messages, but it's 9 a.m. CST, not PST. And then the championship is on Saturday. I will not be streaming that. I will be recording it off stream. Hopefully, tomorrow is Thanksgiving.